Well, it is another Sunday night, and you know what that means. It's time for another live edition of the Auburn Experience podcast. Our recording will begin shortly, but first, we want to say hello to you and get the table set for the show ahead. Let's get into it right now. Eagle Auburn family and War Eagle E2C Network family, thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, on different places, times, multiverses in which you can get this content. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. My name's Kyle. This is Austin. We are ready to get going here very shortly. Austin, having a good night. How's it going for you?
Yeah, things are going well. Hope you're doing well, Kyle. It's been a good week. I have not been flying solo, but I've been with the twins on my own without my better half this weekend. But my gracious mother has been with me this weekend to hang out, and we've had a great time. We had a fun day watching Auburn take down LSU today, and but yeah, I mean it's been a fantastic weekend so far, and hope you're having a good week too. You know, Kyle. It was a fantastic weekend with twins, but I think it was also a fantastic weekend. I mean, just beating LSU. I mean, it could not be any better than this right here. Could you agree or not?
He brought props to the show, and he didn't set me up for it at all, folks. Like, I didn't know he was going to do this.
I hid this from you very well.
You did. I mean, I bet you were just sitting there looking at them, just like ready to chomp down on them. Oh my gosh. You continue to step your game up each and every week. I am impressed. And look, hey, now you've got a snack for the rest of the game or the rest of the show. So, I mean, you're just set up.
I mean, a full corn dog weekend. I got 2 corn dogs here for 2 games and 2 beatdowns. I'm all about it.
See, okay, these are the things you want to say for the show sometimes, but I want to just say this. Look how much hype built around this weekend because both teams for both sets, men's and women's, came on the same weekend. Like, that just makes sense to me that they either travel together or it should happen more often that a visiting team brings both sets to the campus because it gets more hype around it. And let's be honest, there's sometimes a need for people to pay more attention to women's basketball. That gives you a reason to do that. So, yeah, you opened up an opportunity for that soapbox for me that I usually carry. So all it took was a little corn dog action for me to remember that.
No, I'm with you. My mom actually asked me that when we were on our way to Tumors today because she asked, will Alabama come when they come for the girls come when the boys come? I said, well, no, it's on a weekday, but for the weekends, that makes sense. I don't know why they wouldn't schedule that. I'm sure there's more logistics than just us talking about it so lightly, but it is a great idea, and I was super happy it worked out this weekend, and obviously it's even better when we get 2 wins.
Absolutely. I'm super excited to talk about it. As you all can imagine, we're probably going to discuss that as one of our big topics this evening. So if you are wanting us to talk about that, rest assured we have very much planned to do just that for you all on this show. And there's a variety of things that we have to get in here. In fact, we had to bump things down on the list in terms of what we thought would be the primary topics because of what's been transpiring as Austin continues to enjoy delicious corn dogs courtesy of not just the LSU men, but the LSU women and the reigning national champions. Austin is enjoying himself right now. So we'll definitely talk about that. What brand are we going with? Or do you even know what brand that you're eating? It's just corn dogs. LSU brand.
I've been muting myself so people don't have to listen to me too.
Oh, I think you should have left it on there. Just the delicious snacking of corn dogs. That would have been great quality content right there.
I don't know the brand. It's a blue box from Walmart.
We'll go with that. We'll call it Great Value just to kind of cover all the bases there.
They have red sticks though.
You can go home. You're done for the night. You have done more than enough, sir. Go on. Just go on. I'll take it from here. You take the night off. Wow, folks. I don't think y'all are all ready for that. Let's say hello to some people that are already here. WT, Corey, Ronnie, Linda, great crowd already here. Everybody is
Absolutely.
loving the corn dog content. So you get the gold star, honestly, because everybody is just loving this right now. State Fair, is that a brand?
That's probably it. I'm not sure, but that's probably it.
It would that's such a good branding for a corn
It
dog
is.
too, other than Red Stick, which would be a great branding as well.
Michael says right there that men's and women's both are at Vandy on Wednesday, Thursday. So maybe the SEC is trying to do. I mean, it makes sense.
I've been saying, like, it makes too much sense. And I get, like, the logistics always don't work out that way because there's, some of these sports, not every SEC team has a team. I think in basketball, everybody does. But
Right.
it just makes too much sense. And if you want to, just a thought, if you want to really maximize it, bring the gymnastics team, which is usually on a Friday as well, and just make a whole, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, bam, we are just ready to roll here on SEC campuses.
Now, that's definitely not a sport that has everyone, but the ones that do,
yes.
Like, imagine if it had been LSU here this past Friday night. I mean, it was a great crowd with Kentucky in town, but imagine if it'd been LSU and, you just have a whole corn dog weekend.
A whole corn dog weekend.
We could have sold corn dogs in Neville Arena all weekend long.
I've just got to ask the marketing team at Auburn, did y'all put out a special for corn dogs this weekend? Because if you didn't, you missed an opportunity. They have done great work since they got here.
Yeah.
Rhett Hobart and all them. I think if y'all missed that opportunity, oh, man, the money that would have flown off the shelves. See, right here. Just look at that visual right there. That's all you need. You guys can just snapshot that picture of Austin enjoying corn dogs. Here, we'll take some quick questions and we're going to get started. In fact, just as a heads up, normally I stay a little bit after the show. I'll probably stay for like 5 minutes or something like that once Austin says goodbye, but I will need to kind of wrap it up and head on because, as you can tell, I'm not in my normal setup and got to get on the road. Everybody, this is my new thing, Austin. I usually set a timer for when I do a live stream anywhere. And I say, how long will it take for someone to ask this question? What is the latest on Ryan Williams? Nobody knows other than Ryan Williams. And, listen, I mean, it's going to come down to his signing day, and that's all you need to worry about.
He did take a visit to Texas A&M this weekend.
Exactly.
I don't think that's really anything except a courtesy to the wide receivers coach, who's no longer at Alabama, along with several other people.
I mean, everybody.
But I think that's really just a courtesy to him. I think this is Auburn, Alabama all the way. However, he's no longer committed to Alabama.
I wonder why. I mean, nothing happened that could have
nothing
reconsider at all. Nothing happened, and also nothing happened with why I would wanting to bring oatmeal pies or grab some of the oatmeal pies from the statue. Nothing happened like that in this show. We won't discuss anything like that at all.
Nope.
So nothing.
The only goat I know is a tiger that won another national title.
That is wow. So here's the problem, folks. Sometimes we have weeks where we're really like trying to stretch a little bit on some of these topics.
We got too
much. And that's a good thing to talk about. And look, Poetic Tiger kind of sums it up here. Huge weekend. Aubie with the mascot national championship. Men's basketball blows out LSU. Women's basketball knocks off the defending national champions. Greg Williams went into the NCE. Yeah, I had it right. Hall of Fame. What else are we missing in all of this? Obviously, we had a little bit of turmoil to start off the week, which we'll address, but we added some football staff. Too much. And it was a big recruiting weekend too. Lots of people in town for football, and I believe basketball may have had some too. So, with that being said, Austin, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to start the show here. As a reminder for those of you that don't know how this works, we will do a 30-minute-ish show with corn dogs being chewed on the whole time. 3 10-minute-ish segments and potpourri football update because so much has happened, and then we're going to talk about women's basketball. Big old victory over LSU, the defending national championship. Champions, not championship. So let's get this started in 3, 2, 1. David Housel described it best. We are living the whole of the Auburn experience. You can quantify it and you can qualify it in a variety of different ways through people's lives, through different times, venues, experiences. But at its heart, at its core, the Auburn Experience is all about its sports, its culture, and of course, the Auburn family. And because it is about family, we've got to bring members of that Auburn family into the show. I am your host, as always, Kyle, alongside chair number 2 over there, still smacking on some corn dogs. I can hear him kind of picking it about his teeth right now because of what's been transpiring this weekend. Austin Scott, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Kyle. War Eagle. Believe it or not, folks, that is not an exaggeration. If you're watching us live, I literally had corn dogs pre-show tonight as a toast to our basketball teams on a great weekend. We'll be sure to talk about that and plenty more on this episode. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we got too much to talk about. We have rearranged the order of what gets talked about when. So you're probably going to hear us mention some stuff at the very beginning of the show in Auburn Potpourri that you think, why didn't y'all spend a whole segment talking about that? Well, because there's just too much to talk about. So let's just talk about probably first the most earth-shattering news of the weekend that does affect Auburn and many others. The retirement of one Nicholas Saban from the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yeah, I thought you thought I was going to set you up for something else, probably.
I did.
But let's get that out of the way.
Earth-shattering, but that's fine.
Yeah. Let's just talk about this first. How you feeling? Thoughts? Are you happy? Doing a little dance? Eating an oatmeal pie along with those corn dogs? What you got?
Some people's worlds ended this past week on Wednesday. Mine did not. Mine kept spinning because one man decided to stop working and start collecting retirement that he doesn't need.
He does not. No.
Yes, I think the network put out a thing really a post that really encapsulates how I feel about it. Incredible respect. I am absolutely. I've hated having to live through the greatest run by a college football coach in history, and it just happened to be during my lifetime. But I mean, there's no denying. We know firsthand how impressive and how really unprecedented Nick Saban's tenure at Alabama has been. It's over, and thank goodness for that. They've already got a new coach. We are already on to a new regime. And it'll be interesting to all watch unfold. But, I think there was questions about health concerns. I'm glad that seems to have been debunked. And it just seems to be and I have to give props. I think we see so many times in college football and other sports where people that are on top just try and go and go and go. And then it's just sad to look at the end because they've just gone too far. Yeah. And, obviously they didn't win it this year. I'm not complaining about that. But I think it's admirable that he recognized I can't do this anymore. This is not something I want to do. And I'm good with that. And so props to him. Congratulations to Nick and Terry Saban. And I hope they do enjoy retirement. And, but I hope that their success is not continued here in the next regime of, I have a nickname for him, but I'm going to be nice. He's only a few days on the job.
I'll say it. Husky Harson apparently is what everybody we've got
the nickname
in the chat. And, I don't like to drag anybody who's been associated with Auburn through the mud all that much, but it is hard to deny some similarities in the direction of choices with Auburn's past. But I will really quickly give you my experience.
Tell me
that we had this weekend. Folks, I know some of you, if you've seen the post on our social media, you won't believe me that this wasn't all a setup. I mean, there was some planning ahead that had to happen, but not because we were planning to be in Tuscaloosa.
Kyle knew Nick Saban was going to retire.
Actually, yes.
He called him last week.
My sources told me that Nick Saban was done the entire year, and I was just waiting. So I picked this day to go visit family in Tuscaloosa, which I really would never choose to do, not the family part, but to just go to Tuscaloosa. And then just happened to have some fun while I was there. If you missed the post, we decided what the expression I've been using this entire weekend is kick an ant bed and then run. I say it was me in the picture for anybody who's wondering, any of you Alabama fans that want to joke on the hairline or my dad bod, which I take as, compliments, frankly, because I'm more mature than you. And we decided that we were going to try to pull something off, not to the level that it happened in past that sparked a certain controversy with certain trees, but I wanted to just take an Auburn jersey over there and see what happened. But the problem was, let me really quickly back up because I know we got to talk about other things. We were there to visit family, and then it just so happened the press conference was going to happen the same day. And so I said, you know what would be fun? Let's take a jersey over there since we're literally going to be across the street. And I do mean literally across the street from the statue, and just see if we can get a shot with a Cam Newton jersey with one Nicholas Saban statue. And I'll kind of bore you with the details because it's not really that important, but we decided it was safer for me to wear it and then open up the jacket in Cam Newton style right in front of Nick Saban, unbeknownst to all the Bama fans that were literally there just salivating over a press conference around the statue. And I'm not even joking there. I mean, you could have just heard like that, just like drooling over what was happening, and had a little fun. And then, we had a lot of responses from the Bama fans. And then we also, can I just say this, Austin? Some of our Auburn fans, y'all need to get a life. I'm just going to be honest.
Hey, lighten up, Francis.
Lighten up. Hey, Francis, lighten up. It's a joke.
Good grief.
I mean, geez, like I try not to be like rude and stuff like that, but I'm just like, what? I had to write a full post to one person's response and say, let's talk about this in context. First of all, this is a practical joke that houses no harm. This is me opening up a jacket, didn't put anything on the statue, nowhere near it. And I didn't plan for it to be this day. It just happened to work out. I mean, just smile and have a Coke. This brought to you by Coke, apparently.
Just laugh. Just lighten up. It's a joke. It was hilarious. And look, if you want to be that way, well, thanks for the social engagement boost. We'll take it.
I know. I mean, I don't want to be that way, but when you get those type of things and people just trying to ride their high horses, why are bubbles popping up next to me right now? You see this? That's
I do.
Weird. That's weird. It's telling you what I'm really thinking and I want to say right now. But that's the story of this weekend. Go check out the post. We'll probably have another reel about it at some point, but it was a fun weekend. All right, enough about Saban, enough about that. That's still part of the Auburn experience. I do want to mention
on to the real GOAT.
The real GOAT. Which GOAT do you want to talk about? You tell me what GOAT you want to talk about.
The real GOAT. He's not like those other Tigers. He's an 11-time national champion. Aubie the Tiger wins again, Kyle.
I mean, are we shocked?
No.
I mean, here's the thing. This actually counts. This is a national championship that has been earned, Alabama fans. I'm just saying.
I will tell you, I'm actually shocked. I thought they just decided to not let him win anymore. It was going to be you can keep coming back, but I really didn't think they'd let him win anymore. But he did. And he's 11-time champ, and that's #myGOAT.
#myGOAT. And I love that on the same weekend where all the little posts with Nick Saban's shadow being a GOAT, the university or whoever did it was, I don't know who originally was responsible for it to credit, but the shadow of the GOAT in the background.
That was me, Kyle.
Was that you?
I did that. Yeah.
That was you that did that?
That was me. Yeah.
No, it was not.
I promise.
Oh my gosh.
Another prominent social media platform decided to just take it and then put my credit in the caption. But I posted it myself originally. That was
me. Man, I cannot believe that. How did you not tell me that? Like, I know I was busy.
I don't know. I mean,
I was busy grabbing oatmeal pies in front of me.
You were busy defending your honor on social media.
That's what it was.
But yeah, no, it was exactly, I knew exactly what I was doing. And it was exactly for that reason. So I'm glad you did notice it, even if you didn't know it was me.
Oh, man. That was brilliant. And I don't know that my heart could have grown 3 sizes more for you, but it has. Like, you're just the best co-host ever. Oh,
I've won a lot of points tonight.
You have won corn dogs, Aubie, and, defending my honor has been great. 3 great points there. But Aubie wins the national championship. We're not shocked. And I'm sure this won't be the last for him because he is not only the best mascot, yes, but he's the best real Tiger out there. And we proved that this weekend, certain Tigers not being able to do some very, very much things this weekend. Speaking of, should we talk about that part of it first? The Bengal Tigers that couldn't come into town and minus a short run in the second half, the men's basketball team proved once again who's in control of the SEC and who's the best Tiger, taking down the LSU Bayou Bengals at home in Neville Arena. What a game that was, and some real big highlights. I wasn't able to sit down and watch it fully because of what's been going on this weekend, but as I can imagine, you loved what you saw too.
Yeah, got to watch a lot of it with my mom, with the boys. Really impressive showing. I know there's a lot of people who are kind of, on their high horse about, oh, we were up 28. We should not have gotten back to a 9 point. Yes, you're right, but we were up 28, and so thankfully that wasn't an issue. And there's that, if anything, I think that's not a bad thing to remember. Hey, we're not invincible. Let's remember what we're capable of, but also that we have to keep our foot on the gas pedal the entire time. Don't think that Bruce Pearl's not going to use that.
Right.
But I mean, an impressive showing. This team is just clicking. They're clicking. It's a lot of fun. There's somebody every night that could make a highlight reel kind of play, and they are. And so there's a lot left to play. Next couple of opponents will be good tests. They go to your favorite arena this week, Kyle.
Why did you have to bring that up? We had such a good end to the weekend, and you had to remind me of that.
I'm just getting you prepared as we go into the week. I don't want you to get all upset when we.
But you're bringing it up when we've had such a fun time.
We're easing you into it.
I'm going to start rocking uncontrollably every time you talk about that. Okay, we'll save that. Last bit, I'll throw this in here at the end for potpourri, just because so much great stuff happened this weekend. Greg Williams went into the NCEA Hall of Fame, the inaugural Equestrian Hall of Fame. So please,
another
goat. Please give him a round of applause virtually if you have not done so already. Huge. He's actually doing it, folks. If you're not watching live, you don't get the full effect of that. Just like with the corn dogs earlier. Huge recruiting week with 3 transfers coming in this weekend. There was football and basketball recruit galore. Again, like I said, we don't have time to talk about all of it because we got too much other things to spend some time on discussing this evening. So let's move into that right now. But before we do that, folks, we got to talk about our friends at Magic Mind, because as we've been talking about with y'all for a while now, and y'all have responded by supporting them and vicariously supporting us by supporting them, the word energy, and they are a great source for energy out there. Now, when I talk about energy, you're thinking about those energy drinks that, yes, give you the buzz, give you the get up juice that you need, but at the same token, they're not necessarily the best ones out there for you health wise. The solution I have for you is our friends at Magic Mind. I've tried them personally, and I can test that their claim being true, that they're great at defeating burnout and elevating your mental health all at the same time, but without some of the not so great benefits, quote unquote, of some of those other energy alternatives out there. They'll help you with their mental focus, be more productive. They can help you just do this in a more prolonged but healthy way in terms of giving yourself the energy to accomplish what you need. And let's be honest here, to be an Auburn fan requires a lot of that energy too. But if you want to check them out at magicmind.com/Jan Auburn. That's JAN Auburn. Use the code Auburn, AUBURN, for 56% off a subscription or 20% off that one-time purchase. If you're not convinced, I have had one of my family members who has to deal with ADHD on a daily basis, and he said that not only does it not stir up some of the symptoms he had with that, but it gave him the energy and the focus that he was looking for, like I said, without aggravating some of those symptoms. Again, that place you need to visit is magicmind.com/Jan, JAN Auburn, and use the code Auburn, AUBURN, for 56% off a subscription or 20% off that one-time purchase. Mr. Scott, this week for Auburn football was one for the ages. In terms of highs and lows, let's just be honest about this. We got to discuss some departures, some entries, and opinions about certain things out there. So I don't really know how you want to tackle this thing. Maybe the departures first and end on a positive note, mainly focusing around coaching changes for Auburn football. If you haven't found out, well, I don't know what you've been doing other than maybe paying attention to the news across the state. But unfortunately, it pains me I know you just wave it away at this point. It's kind of boring now. It pains me to say this, folks. Carnell Cadillac Williams, Coach Caddy, is no longer part of the staff by his own choice and resignation in an official statement, obviously with the support of Coach Freeze in that same announcement. And on top of that, within 24 hours, Zach Etheridge, another fan favorite, another Auburn, I'll say legend just because of what they've been as a player and a coach now, in their own right. And it's a sad reality when you lose coaches like that for whatever the reason. So I'd like us to start that way, focusing on their legacy, what they have meant to Auburn football. Yes, right now, but in their entirety of their legacy. So your opening thoughts about Caddy and Zach heading off into the distance.
Yeah, I mean, I think there had been, if you've paid attention a little bit, there's been rumblings of these kind of things over the last few weeks, whether it be on social media or message boards or just, talking. Kyle and I definitely discussed it off air with each other several times and just wondering if there was any merit to it, any kind of timeline of this. And it's sad in one respect. I think when you look at two alums who have given a lot of their time and a lot of their sweat and blood and tears to this program as players and as coaches, it's sad to see them go. We know Zach is going to Houston to be with his future father-in-law and get to be closer to family. We know Cadillac has resigned to pursue other opportunities. I think that in both respects, it's sad for, like you said, the current moment, but also because some Auburn brothers are leaving the Plains temporarily for now. So I hate it. I think with Cadillac, it's easier to talk about. I think Zach did a phenomenal job here as a recruiter and as a coach. But obviously with Cadillac in the last year to two, he's become more of he was already a legend for his playing days, right? Mm-hmm. And he was going to be a legend after his coaching days had 2022 never happened.
Right.
But because of 2022, which you and I have well documented on this podcast, I think his legendary status is through the roof.
Yes.
The way he rallied the team, the fan base, the Auburn family, just through such a weird change and then staying on with Coach Freeze, it changes what we remember of Cadillac. I think about, there's plenty of people grown people who never saw Cadillac play football. Their best memories of him are leading the team out of the tunnel, bypassing Cole Kubelik, saying, let's go play ball. That is their go crazy moment because that's what they witnessed with their own eyes. And so I think that's really special. And it adds an element where it's hard to see him go. I think Cadillac's one of those, and Zach are those people that will be back on the Plains when they're old, when they're done coaching and I mean, they could be coaching here again one day. We don't know.
Yeah.
If this week hasn't told you that the coaching world is crazy, I don't know what week will. So it's sad, but I think something positive to take from this is it's very cliche, but this is a business, and it looks like Hugh Freeze is going to be able to bring in two more guys that he believes are going to get this program where he wants it to be. I'm not saying that Cadillac and Zach Etheridge butted heads with Hugh Freeze. I'm not saying there was any disconnect or anything like that. But I'm not even saying they were forced on him to keep when he was hired here. I think he recognized their importance of keeping them as he kind of built his first year. Now that they're going elsewhere, he's able to bring in two more guys that he believes are going to help him. And look, it's his job. It's on the line. So I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss seeing them on the sidelines and having them as our hype guys, but can't wait to see where those guys go, and best of luck to them.
It will always mean the world to me, the moments that Cadillac has made special. He will always be my favorite player because he was my Bo Jackson. And go crazy Cadillac, various other memories of him as a player. But to me, none more special during one of the lowest periods of our historic years as an Auburn football program, when there was nothing else to play for but just each other. After a Texas A&M victory at home, his first as an Auburn football head coach, interim or not, him looking into the camera and saying, Auburn's going to be all right. And man, I'm getting a little, right
I
now,
can see
just
it. Yep.
little. So it is a goodbye, but hopefully it is a see you real soon. Very quickly on the same topic, I don't want us to talk about one side of it and not the other. As with these things, people have opinions. People
Sure.
choose sides. People make up stories. People spread news. We had a post-game stream where I reacted to the news and kind of shared some thoughts about it, and I felt like offered some caution on. I tried to do it very balanced about this situation. You're going to hear a lot of things, not just about Cadillac, about Coach Freeze and stuff like that. I would just caution you, if you find yourself in one corner or another, you're probably wrong. But at the other side of the equation, I guess I'm kind of stumbling on my words right now, just trying to think about how best to walk around this. Sometimes there's always reasons for these decisions to be made that we're not privy to. And I think sometimes the things that we don't know, we need to be okay with. Yep. And we just hope for the best and wish not just Cadillac, but Zach as well. As much as we've gone on about Caddy, I don't want it to be lost that Zach is just as important to
absolutely
as a player, as a coach, that it has meant to this football program over the years. And we'll see what happens for them and what opportunities come up for them. We know Zach's, but maybe Caddy's will be in the future. Let's take the bad news, losing two greats, and talk about some additions. We've been sitting here, but since we've lost an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and at one point a defensive back coach, to figure out how this staff was going to look moving forward into 2024. And the first bit of news that we got this week, well, you can kind of date which one happened technically first, which one broke first, but Wesley McGriff was reported to have changed his mind and not wanting to go over to Texas A&M, wanted to come back to be a defensive back coach at Auburn. At one point, kind of left us with 3 defensive back coaches until Zach decided to leave. And then about the same time, the official announcement, co-defensive coordinator Charles Kelly, stealing him from primetime himself, an Auburn guy. So we lose some Auburn guys, we get one back. I don't know if that equals it out for you, coming back to be a co-DC. So thoughts about Charles Kelly, thoughts about Wesley McGriff. Welcome back.
Absolutely. My first question to you, Kyle, is does this count as Wesley McGriff's fourth stint at Auburn?
It is a good question.
I'm going to say no.
And I agree with you if there was nothing signed by him at Texas A&M, which we probably would never know.
We probably won't. They did announce him. They did announce him. And so, but who knows? But I'm going to say no. Anyway, yeah, really cool to have Wesley McGriff. He wants to be at Auburn. He made that very clear. With when he came the third time to Auburn, and I think he wouldn't have left without some other situations having not resolved themselves by the time he wanted them to. Now they have. So awesome to have Crime Dog back. I think it's going to be awesome to have him, and obviously he's really important to a lot of our players. And they've mentioned that Charles Kelly has. I mean, I feel like I've talked about Charles Kelly coming back to Auburn ad nauseum through the last decade, whether it be defensive coordinator, head coach. I mean, he's someone a lot of Auburn people have wanted back on the Plains for a long time. I think he's wanted back on the Plains for a long time. So really glad to have him here. Funny story, Kyle. I was at Byron Smokehouse on what morning was
Saturday?
that? Friday.
Was it Friday morning?
Saturday morning. Morning. And Charles Kelly was in there having some breakfast, and I was like, this guy. I mean, I think we've all known he's been back for a while. It just was publicly announced this week. Mm-hmm. I think he's been back really since the bowl game, or at least that's when we started hearing about it. But at Byron Smokehouse, enjoying some breakfast this morning or on Saturday morning, and so
like he never left.
Like he never left. I think that is a guy who's happy to be back on the Plains, and it's gonna prove very beneficial for the defensive staff and the recruiting trail.
Yeah, I'm happy so much to, have some some clarity to the coaching staff, but to have an Auburn guy come back as we lose to makes that a little bit, makes you cope a little bit better with the loss of what happened. Also, I mean, I guess you could say we technically got an Auburn guy back in Wesley McGriff, because I mean, at what point does that start wearing off, though, when you kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? I'm happy to have been wrong about him, coming back, because I was like, if you leave a third time, surely you're never coming back, at least as a coach, maybe as like an administration one day. But here I sit wrong, and I'm so happy for it. So 2 great additions. Well, a retention maybe is a better way.
Sure. I like that.
Weston McGriff. And that's kind of where we sit at right now, is the moment of us recording this podcast. News has just been flying this week, and who knows what this next coming week is going to look like. So we may be talking about much more then. But that's the kind of big stories that we want to discuss: the good, the bad, just a football update that was very important to get out there and talk about, so we kind of don't lose track of all the things that are going to be happening, even as we lead up to spring for Auburn football. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it again very, very soon. Our main other topic tonight, we are going to talk about basketball, as is not a shock to anyone else. It is after football season that takes center stage. Of course, you're going to talk about shooty hoops, round ball. But folks, tonight, we are not spending a segment talking about Bruce Pearl and the men, who are doing pretty well right now, might I add you. And as Austin displays for our live viewers, enjoyed some corn dogs himself, as Austin is doing right now. But
this was his corn
that was his corn dog. Where's the other one? Where's that second one? You got a second?
This is the second corn dog that happened more recently.
That happened more recently, folks. Hours ago of us recording this, Coach Johnny Harris and your Auburn women's basketball team just took down the defending national champions, LSU Tigers. Angel Reese, Coach, however you pronounce her name, how do you help me?
Mulkey.
I look at it and I'm like, is that
like murky, but with an L?
Okay. Murky, but with an L. Regardless of the hooked on phonics of it, we have taken down the LSU Tigers, which they need some hooked on phonics, the way they spell go and all that kind of stuff. Wow. I mean, what a end cap to an amazing week for Auburn, even as it began a little bit tumultuously with some other non-related stuff. But I mean, are you just over the moon right now?
Oh yeah. I mean, so I knew the game was today. I knew LSU was coming into town. Like I said earlier, my mom is here this weekend, and we had just put the boys down for a nap. Or no, that's not true. We were going to put the boys down at halftime. But I told her, we flipped it over, and I said, let's watch. We're on ESPN. How many times is Auburn women's basketball on ESPN?
Right. The main channel, but other than SEC
I think our buddy Clint. Right. I think our buddy Clint said the first time on ESPN since 2004, which is nuts.
Nell Fortner, folks. Isn't that Nell Fortner, yeah. I believe? Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's been. Am I wrong?
It's either Coach Champy or Coach Nell.
Maybe it is Coach Champy. Either way, 2 great names.
If we're having to think about that, it's been a really long time. And so we flip it over, and I tell her before the opening tip, I say, hey, we win this game, we're going to Tumors with the boys. And we both laughed and said, okay. And so sure enough, I mean, the game goes on quarter by quarter. Auburn's in it. Auburn's throwing punches left and right, and LSU's answering. And turns out Auburn takes home a victory. Another big win for Coach Johnny Harris on the Plains, and another rocking crowd at Neville Arena. So really awesome to see for Auburn women's basketball, for the Auburn family to rally around them. And what a game. I was shocked, not at the outcome as the game went on, but shocked to see just how well this team continues to play together as her career here progresses. And I know that's something you really wanted to talk about tonight.
Yeah. I don't want us having this larger discussion to be lost of the significance of this particular moment right here, because this is huge. She's in year 3. And, one of the things that you ask yourself, a coach asks themselves, or the administration who makes these decisions, what does our trajectory look like? And there continue to be moments where you see that upward movement of just small moments, games being won, things being accomplished. But there are affirmations that we're on the right track, because as much as I love previous coaches, it just never kind of leveled off and never, or went down and came back up. This program is on the right track, I think, based on what we're seeing today, this season. It's still a lot of season left to be playing, but over the past couple of seasons that she's been here, Coach Johnny Harris. First year, you're just trying to do what you can. Hugh Freeze learned that very well in football. And in that first year, beat Tennessee, which is like one of the stamps of, hey, we're doing something here. Even if Tennessee's having a down year, that's a big thing. Tennessee's a household name. So you do that in year one. Year two, have some other big victories. You have a better schedule. You make it to the tournament. Year three, and a great start in non-conference play. Still plenty more in conference play to be had, but you take down the defending national champs. If that's not a sign of we are heading in the right direction, I don't know what is. I mean, what else does she need to do right now? At least what we are talking about at this moment in time in this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think you continue that momentum, right? Auburn was 0-3 coming in today in conference play. Not something you really want to see, but to really, I think despite of that, that makes today's win even bigger. And so to see the Auburn family come around and fill out, I think it was the highest attendance, or an attendance record for Neville Arena for a women's basketball game. Is that right, Kyle?
Yes,
but
that is correct.
Second ever for women's basketball, no matter the arena. Is that correct?
I believe that is the correct way of phrasing that, because remember, Beard Eves is like gigantic compared to Neville.
Yes.
And let me just say this, folks, talking about Nell Fortner earlier, and I talked about this with Andy Burcham when we interviewed him on Auburn Roots, just reminiscing back the amazingness that was the height of the Nell Fortner era when we're sitting in Beard Eves. You can't find a seat in the normal non-blocked off area, and then all of a sudden they raised the curtains for that Tennessee game that year, and I was like, we have reached a new level of Auburn women's basketball. I was like, the curtains are coming up. Neville Arena, you've reached the highest attended there, and likely not going to be the record for too much longer if they continue on the trajectory that they're on right now.
That's right.
And I just got to give it to the Auburn family. Okay, look, we're not going to sit here and act like things aren't the way that they are. Men's basketball will always, 9 times out of 10, be the attention getter. It hasn't always been. During those Nell Fortner years, people showed up to the women's basketball games more than the men's basketball games for a time. I witnessed it firsthand. But the family saw an opportunity, showed up, and showed out. And you got to think how much that meant, yes, to Coach Harris, to the staff, to the coaches, to those players especially who have stuck it out. Players like, honestly, Scott Grayson, who came back for another year. Think about what that meant to her.
Had a game, too.
Right. I mean, we knew that she was going to be able to contribute more than contribute. That's not even an adequate word to describe that. Do what she normally does and be a star on this team. But you choose to stick around for another year, and you're like, well, what can there be a lot of other great things to do in year three as we're continuing to rebuild? And here we are. Great start to the year. Take down the dividend. And Angel Reese, household name in women's basketball right now. I mean, that's a great way to have your final year go for her, at least.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about the attendance record. It's evidence of the Auburn family that people are sticking with this team and this program. We've talked about that with volleyball. There's kind of a renewed interest in these teams, and they're giving them good reason to be involved. Like I did say, we did make good on my mom and I did make good on our statement. We did end up going to taking the boys to Tumors. They got up from nap time and we were hitting the road. And there was a good contingent there. The team, everybody was waiting on the team to get there to throw their own rolls, but the Tumors corner was rolled for an Auburn women's basketball victory, and that's not really something that happens that often. Right or wrong, it was good to see that, there's some schools that just love football, but this is, and that's very apparent after the week we've had, but Auburn is Auburn, and the Auburn experience covers so much more than just football. And I think we're seeing that here. Okay. You talk about something before I get all.
Oh, yeah. Hey, settle down now. Listen, I know you're a dad now and all that, but just settle down there, partner. Don't get all mushy on me. I'm very proud of today for the victory, for what the victory means. But to us, as we've tried to express here, it's more than just one victory. It's just the one moment in time. It's the stories within the story. The honesty Scott Grayson's, right. The affirmation for Coach Johnny Harris, the way the Auburn family responds. That's the Auburn experience. It's more than just the game. Hey, you might say it just means more.
Oh, boy.
It means more than an oatmeal pie. I'll tell you that much. About a certain thing that we've already discussed on the show, which we won't get back into, even though we love rubbing it in their faces because this is about and corn dogs too. What a show, folks. What an absolute show. I gotta
finish this one for Johnny Harris.
Just do it right now, right there. And done. Corn dogs done, just like men's and women's basketball this weekend. That's going to do it for this edition of the Auburn Experience podcast. Episode 62 is in the books. If you want to continue to chat with us, you can find me on X at Kyle Loomis24. Where can they find you, Austin?
You can find me at Austin G. Scott on X. You'll see a picture of two twin boys in bomber jackets and Auburn hats at Toomer's Corner today. It's quite adorable, if I do say so myself.
Like the heck out of those things. And if you want some other fun content, make sure you go check out our little adventures in T-Town this weekend. And that was quite the trip. So with all that being said, episode 62 in the books. Thank you for listening and watching till we talk to you again. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Good show. Props, fun times.
We had a great show.
Rants, feel-good moments. We both nearly cried. I laughed. I cried. I don't know what else you can do in a show.
I think it was perfect. Yeah. Thanks to Chandler Fulman for popping in tonight.
I know. Chandler was here. We got
I'm glad we made his social to-do list.
I know, right? Mr. Popular, we somehow found we got penciled in right there.
Yeah,
so how that works.
That's an honor.
Yes, and AU superfan number 2, Michael Floyd, was here too. So give him a shout.
I saw that. So, that's right. I saw him a lot on the game today. He was courtside and jumping up and down, getting everybody going as he usually does. So
that's what he does. That is definitely what he does. Final thoughts for you, sir, as we head out.
War Eagle. Hope everybody has a great week, and it's going to be a good one. We'll keep watching Auburn, all the things unfold with this staff, and then also, keep watching and keep ribbing your favorite family members on the other side of the state.
We will certainly do that. Austin, thanks for hanging out with us. Good night.
Thanks so much. War Eagle.
War Eagle. All right, folks, I'm going to stick around with you for just a few minutes here, literally just a few minutes. So if you've got a comment, a question that you want me to address to end the show, get it in right now real fast. I'll do them rapid fire. I do have to head out because I am on the road and not in my normal location. Got things going on. Just spending time with family this weekend. Reminders for what's coming up this week. Hey, if you're on TikTok, we do normally not tomorrow, but we'll do midday streams, just kind of chatting it up. Next scheduled live streams will be Wednesday. We got 2 for you. A post-game stream for Auburn men's basketball. But before that, as I try to get to my little things that I have ready for you, we have our Auburn Family Night live stream call-in show where we'll be talking about a lot of great stuff. So don't miss that right after the game, which will lead right up to the ending of that show. Post-game stream, you'll hear me rant about the Vanderbilt Arena. And then, of course, the next Saturday, Auburn versus Ole Miss post-game show. Those are the scheduled live streams, which you need to be subscribed, following us so you don't miss any of our great content out there. So with that being said, any final comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals, anything else? I see a lot of people really like some of the things that we talked about during the show, talking about how happy they are with the coaching staff, sad to lose Caddy, all that kind of stuff. And just looks like we, after what was a tumultuous beginning to the season, to the week season, but begin the week. It actually ended up being a very fun and productive weekend in the Auburn Experience. So, folks, thank you all for tuning in. We hope to see you back here next Sunday night. Who knows what we'll be talking about then? This week was pretty crazy. But I hope you all have a great week. Stay safe in the cold weather. And until we talk to you again, War Eagle.